Well, it's good to have you back once more. It was recommended by Jace, I guess is the way you pronounce his name, that I check the pins on the 71A tube, which is the output tube. He said, make sure that they're soldered. He said he had one time, and the wires coming out of the glass tube of the tube and going down into the socket had never been soldered to the pin. Well, I took a look at it, and they all look really good. I don't see any problem here at all. And I ohmed out everything. It seems to be okay. About all you can ohm out really is the filament. So we're going to go ahead and just call that a good tube. And if I need to, I can always easily pull it out and reheat them if need be. I don't like to heat them unless it's a last resort, especially since that's the only 71A tube I have. Alright, so what we're going to do here is I've already taken out the I've already lifted up the chassis again out of there, and let me get something to point with here. These you'll notice these copper things press up against the pins, and they're kind of like a spring-loaded piece of copper plated type of metal. And down here, this one here was a little bit loose, and it was also, all four of those were a little loose, and they're also very tarnished. So I went ahead and I took a fingernail file, just a standard old lady's fingernail file, and I stuck it between there like that. And then I went ahead and gave it a good sanding up and down. Actually, probably from this way, I think is the way I did it. I just took it like that and ran it up and down until I got all that tarnish removed from there. Back up a little bit. Kind of hard doing it one-handed now, but I did that to all four of these pins, and now I'm working on the bottom one down here. Let me see if I can get these four haven't been done yet. I'm just getting started on that. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to clean all the way around. You can see there's a lot of black crap coming off those tubes. Let me try the other end here, off those pins. And then I'm down here on this one. Just a matter of putting it up there and just making sure you get the entire flat surface area of the copper plated flat pin. Do all of them just like that, and then make sure that this one's a little bit loose. It's not pressed firmly up against this brown collar. I'm going to have to make sure that this one's nice and tight. This one's fairly good, but this one here is like really loose, so it might be my major problem. I'm going to play around with this thing a little bit, see if I can get it to get up tight against it. Then we'll put it back together. I'm going to play around with it a little bit more, make sure everything is to my satisfaction. I'm also going to come up here and do this one here also. I've gone over every single set of tube pins top to bottom, clean them up as best I can. One good thing about using a nail file, by the way, for cleaning pins, tube socket pins, that sort of thing, when you have them like this, when they start to get mangy like this one is here on the end, just take a pair of scissors and whack it off and you're good to go again. Just keep shortening it down bit by bit by bit until you finally get so short you can't use it anymore. These things really work good. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and put it all back together and hope for the best. It is the next day, and we'll go ahead and crank up the volume. I've got this thing tuned in on a station here. Just shot on a movie set, just opened. And I walk back there and Sandler goes, Danny. Alright, all the broken audio is gone. So apparently cleaning those pins did the trick. But I have a hollow, echoey sound coming from this speaker. Now I need to determine whether or not that's the radio or the speaker itself. I think it's the speaker, so let's find out. Let's go ahead and I've got my signal tracer hooked up here. Go ahead and turn the speaker on. Alright.
Now I'm starting to get worried. I read the newspaper, no mention of Nick Schwartzen. I finally see him on the movie.
I'm doing a little tuning right now.
Came over with Andy Roddick. Schwartzen got a ride with them. He walked in. He looked terrible. Had sand all in his hair and his face.
Okay, no echoey sound there.
I got so drunk I passed out on the golf course. I slept in a sand trap.
There it has an echoey sound, so I'm probably going to have to work on that speaker, which I know nothing about again. Unless someone can tell me that that's the way those speakers were. I don't know. But we're doing real good now.
Shorty paid the price. Next time you buy a dog. Denny Hill will join us in studio. We'll see how he fares in the NASCAR simulator.
Sounds pretty good.
And
it's time to solder all this stuff back up.
Some more of your phone calls as well. Full question.
Alright, I don't know if you can see this, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 filaments lit up in there and 7 tubes. Looks really good, a lot better than it has. And I have everything soldered back up where it's supposed to go. So we'll go ahead and crank up the volume. I've got a station already tuned in here.
Men from 21 to 85 can achieve and maintain sexual performance better than at any time.
That's what I need, better sexual performance.
You get to try this revolutionary new prescription medication on
That's not too bad. It still has a kind of an echo sound to it. What I'm going to do is put the lid on this thing. I know my hand's over the top of the... if I put my hands over the top of the coils, it has a tendency to dampen it down a little bit. So let's go ahead and put the lid on it and see what that does.
Gold coins were melted down during the Great Depression.
Alright.
The New York Mint was announcing the public.
Let me try tuning it in a little bit better here. It still has that echo. It kind of...
I mean, it's shocking that these coins even exist. Back with it tomorrow.
I may have to... I don't know. There may be a problem still with this thing here. I don't know. This volume control is messed up. I'm going to have to spray it. I'll be spraying it by shooting a little bit of contact cleaner down in that hole right in front of that can. I don't know if you can see it right there. And then I'm going to move the... it's got a wiper in there that runs around a wire wound type of a rheostat sort of thing, almost like a variac. So while I'm rotating the knob on the outside, I'll be shooting a little bit of contact cleaner down in there. Alright, it is turning a lot smoother now. Now let's see if I can't shoot a little air down in there. See if I can't dry some of that out of there. And then we'll come over from the other direction. Shoot it from this direction. It's always good to keep a can of air around. Alright. Let's see what that does now. Let me get it turned back on. Alright, that didn't make a whole lot of difference, but I did notice that this 27 tube here, this old globe tube, is a slow lighter. Very slow. I think right now we're just going to call this radio repaired and probably have to mess with the speaker later. So until then, this is John.
Next news update, 11:30 or whenever news breaks. I'm Paula Cooper on the Voice of Chicago, 720 WGN.